fought the rest, now try the best!
What was like the main thing that we were highlighting last time we spoke?
What we talked about last time was essentially the balance of the game and how some characters just go under the radar. They do not get nerfed despite being literally the best characters in the game.
How has balancing changed since then? Have things went the direction you were expecting or not so much?
The last time we talked, I practically predicted everything. The first thing was Jin having a tailspin. Jin got a normal tailspin. Kazuya got a, I would say, good tailspin, although I have a personal problem with that I just can't land it sometimes. And then Devil Jin gets literally the worst tailspin. It has serious issues with connecting sometimes. Anna is undoubtedly rank 1. Like, this character is literal definition of pay to win. I don't think Brian is top 3. I would put him definitely in top 5. I think martial law. Most people don't like to hear it, but Law is just a character that literally forces a lot of shit on you. He just forces you. As soon as martial law gets his turn, that turn barely ends. You have to be I don't know, Magnus Carlsen of chess in Tekken to guess right, or you're never getting out. Law is one of the biggest offenders when it comes to the wall damage due to the to his string that has also the dragon cannon, and that's the whole reason why he has such an insanely absurd ending damage. Devil Jin's problem is not his wall standing too. His problems are lack of mids, lack of literal lows, and yeah, Hell Sweep, sure, but what else do we have after Hell Sweep that is so damaging? Nothing. It's cool that they're buffing Devil Jin. It's not even a huge buff. I'll still take it though any day, but it's not the buff that it's supposed to go to the right direction. They should have more focused on his mids and lows rather than wall standing too. The overall problems of the character are still there. They are not fixed because he's still lacking mids and he's still lacking lows. You need to look objectively at the state of the game. If you see Anna versus Anna in grand finals, you know you have an issue. When something is really busted, you really need to do something about that as soon as possible. First of all, before I say anything, I did play a lot of Fakumram in Tekken 7, and that was after the nerfs. Fakumram is really balanced. Sure, he's annoying with that one thing that he has with the install where you have to literally watch a 3-second cutscene before he makes a move. But overall, when it comes to the moves, yeah, it's actually a good character. And I was really impressed by that. I really like the character. I just don't understand also the stage. Why the do we have Pac-Man? I don't feel like he's a top tier. I don't feel like he's super strong, but I don't feel like he's weak either. He's just cool. The only thing that right now that scares me a lot, Armor King, I've seen him having a stance. He's gonna be basically like King on steroids. He looks very cool. His moves are looking insanely cool, like one of the best character looking, but they also look really bad in terms of balance, at least for now. Other games than just fighting games or Tekken, League of Legends or other games that I'm playing, the concept is absolutely the same, which I hate, that the games are being made for absolute casuals but also lazy players, so that they have such advantage or like a backup that they can stand against, you know, people who have played, let's say, a year. They aren't pros or anything good, but they should, in theory, if you're a complete newbie, you shouldn't be able to beat someone who has played this game a year or something. Like, that shouldn't happen. As a community, you have, let's say, 5 different categories of players. You have pro players, you have semi-pro players, or like, you know, very competitive players, you have casuals, and then you have those lazy bums that we just talked about. If a Namco would have to hear out all of those 5s, this game will never make any sense. Like, this game will be a disaster. So Tekken should take a really set back to how the old Tekkens were in terms of, okay, you're a good player, you're willing to learn, we are going to reward you with that. If you want to learn the combos, learn the punishments, we're gonna give you the edge over the new players. If that was the case, I think the Tekken right now would have been so much more interesting as well, and there would not be any review bombs, in my opinion, because review bombs are coming from, first of all, Namco being greedy, and second thing, Namco casually listening to half of the time listening to the pros, and half of the time listening to the lazy bums.
What do you feel is like the most underrated, not talked about thing? What do you want to shine a light on when it comes to Tekken 8?
That's a very good question. I'm not even gonna lie. That's an amazing question. Shit, there's so many bad things that it's getting harder and harder to find any positive. God damn.
Like, if you could say something positive about Tekken 8, what would you say?
Oh shit. Maybe the design of some characters. Kazuya design as a character, Clive, Reina, despite the fact that I hate Reina as a character in game, I like her design. Tekken 8 did a really amazing job at designing most of the characters. In fact, when it comes to female, my favorite character design, Zafina, definitely. Her rage art, her looks, like everything is on point with her.
Why do you think her usage is low and she's a character who's forgotten about?
First of all, she's a really weird character because of those stances. Second of all, she isn't the typical Gunner. Let's face the facts. How many Lily and Alisa players do we have? Those two characters specifically, they are cute, kawaii, and they are Gunner, so you see them literally non-stop. Zafina, she's kind of like the weirdo type of auntie that you don't want to be left alone with, or she's gonna turn you into a ghost. I think moveset is really weird. Whereas Alisa, you literally need single brain cell and you can play with her. I wanted to ask you also the personal question because I have seen you make a video about the tournament right now. Atif using Brian and whole this situation. What is your personal statement on the pro players? Like, if you would have to pick top 3 players that you think are the best overall, who would you pick?
I would say Atif #1, but I think Arslan has proved that he could just counter pick Atif. If these players were stacking up against one another, it would be Arslan because he could beat Atif. But if we're just talking about them in isolation, it would go Atif, Arslan. I think Mogold's doing really good right now.
Atif has been mostly successful due to the certain characters, Season 1 has proved Ulsan was supposed to be the GOAT for many. Atif was supposed to be the GOAT. Dragunov got nerfed, and before Anna came out, was Atif like highly successful with any tournaments?
So you would say that he's carried by powerful characters. Is that like the statement?
I mean, come on. Now you just asked me you asked the question in such a spicy way. Whereas if I'm gonna say yes, I'm about to get hated for the rest of the life by many people. I'm gonna say a certain statement that people need to probably hear twice before they start hating on me. A GOAT, the greatest of all time, is not anybody who is using a high tier character, because if you're really the best of the best, you should be able to play the weakest character and do just fine, just like Arslan and Rangchu, because Kuma wasn't a high tier. Kazumi wasn't a high tier. Okay, you're winning a lot of tournaments, but that's because you also resort to using the best characters. Atif, in my opinion, could be top 8 player or top 16, but he's not top 3. And the same goes for Arslan. I think personally, coaching should be allowed only in one certain scenario, which is you're allowed to have coaching, but only between the matches, as you're sitting in the crowd and you're waiting for your own match, but not during the sets, because as you mentioned, that wastes so much time. And when you're on stage, you most likely have a lot of pressure on you. And I remember lately seeing a video from Brawl Pro when he was coached by a Brian player called Tone. He just said, "Bro, you need to do something." Wow. If someone has to tell you what you're supposed to punish or something like that, then what the fuck have you been doing before the tournament? You knew who you're gonna face in the brackets. You should be coached before the match occurs. Like, bro, remember that this move minus 17, 20, blah, blah, blah. This is the type of coaching that should happen before the match. If it's in the match, during the match, that's kind of cheating. The opponent doesn't have a coach, as an example. Let's go 1v1, but I'll bring my friend with me.
What do you want the players to know? Like, if you could say one thing and have the players take away, what would it be?
Before you make a statement, think about it 3 times. If you're listening to someone's opinion, listen to it word to word and not just what you like to hear, and then make a statement. I've seen people make that mistake all over Twitter, YouTube comments. Some people started commenting this and that, and they took it out of the context. They didn't take the entire sentence into listening. They took certain words, and it was like, no, that's not what I said. And also, for fuck's sake, stop calling whoever wins the tournament. Stop calling them the GOAT, please, because this is getting ridiculous, bro. Atif wins a tournament. All of a sudden, he's the greatest of all time. He's the Mokujin. Arslan wins. He's the GOAT. And Knee wins, he's the GOAT. Bro, we have like 50 GOATs. What is going on? Are we going to the alpaca farm on the Ordis farm with all those GOATs? Please, for the love of everything, every Tekken player, choose one Go and stick with it, please, for the love of everything, and have a valid argument for that.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.